So I need to lose some weight. I started at 319. That was 2 years ago. And, got down to 270-ish. Pretty good, healthy way. And that's when my testosterone bottomed out. Like 150 out of, what's the range? Like 300 to 1,000, something like that.
1,000's like the high normal.
Yeah, and I was at 150. So then I started on testosterone and just, started lifting and trying to build muscle and gain some strength. I still had plenty of fat to lose and have plenty of fat to lose, but weight loss just kind of sucks. So I was just hoping I could lift and, make some changes that way. And when I was ready to diet down again, then I would diet down again. I've done little diet breaks, but, I'm sitting 285, I think.
You can tell.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Thanks. I appreciate that. 285-ish, something like that. And I haven't weighed myself since last Monday. But so here's my thought. Anytime I've dieted down, which I've, lost weight a number of times, most of the time it was not the right way. So it all came back later. Mm-hmm. But I decided not to weigh myself this week, even though this week I started the weight loss process. So I started in a deficit Sunday. It's been a week today. And I figured for this first week, whatever happens on the scale is nonsense. Right? Like I might lose a little tissue, but I'm going to lose 5-10 pounds of water and glycogen. And so if I see that on the scale, week 1, then rolling into week 2, I have this expectation that like, yes, I'm doing this, I'm doing the thing right. And I feel like by the end of week 2, when I only have lost half a pound or maybe a pound, I'm going to be depressed about it. I'm not going to be excited about it. So I feel like that first week of weight loss sets you up for kind of bad expectations for the next few weeks. Because realistically, and this is something that our mom shared, she had said, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the next month. And I was like, Mom, you gotta think about that. Like 1 pound is 3,500 calories. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go into a deficit of 7,000 calories to lose that weight. And I was like, so breaking that down over the course of the month, like, do you feel like you can sustain that? Like, and we just kind of talked through it. And she was like, you know what? I think you're right. I think I should just shoot for 10 pounds. And I was like, do that, but the 10 pounds after you lose 10 pounds. And She was like, but that's 20 pounds again. And so this is kind of where my thought keeps going, is if I weigh myself, there's a thing in here, if I weigh myself initially, and I use that as like my jumping off point, and I say, oh, hey, I lost 10 pounds. Realistically, yeah, on the scale, but did I actually change my body? Did I actually lose fat? So I don't know. I think a lot of people get to that point where they start their diet, they get all excited initially, and then it plateaus, though it's not a plateau. It's just now you're actually losing the tissue off your body. It's just not as exciting. Because on the scale, if you're actually losing fat tissue off your body, it's not going to happen as quickly unless you're starving yourself or doing astronomical amounts of cardio, and both of those suck.
I'm a bigger believer in measuring yourself because, I mean, it's a good barometer to know what you lost weight-wise.
Agreed.
But at the same time, pick a couple key points, your belly, your chest. If you don't want to do 10 measuring points every week, just pick a couple where you know that you carry it. And then every couple weeks, because just like you said, if you happen to lose 2 pounds, you don't know what that means. What did you lose? Did you have a particularly boisterous poop that day, or is it good weight? But if you lost 2 inches on your waist and you weighed the same on the scale, there's your progress. So I've just always been, I don't even weigh myself, other than just if I can measure and see that my waist has gone down a couple inches, if I can actually check and see that I've lost waist inches, or that's usually, it's how our family packs on weight, it's right there in the gut. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what I weigh, as long as I know things are going and my body's changing the way that I want them to. If I'm not losing weight too fast, because that's kind of we can lose weight quick in our family, but we always tend to do it the drastic crash way.
Yep. Crash dieting.
Yeah. And it's not sustainable. Like, all the studies show that if you're going to lose weight, we don't want to be hungry, but that's what everyone does for themselves.
Yeah.
It's because I'm going to go on vacation in 2 months, so I got 2 months to lose 35 pounds or whatever stupid number it is.
Yep.
And then you're going to starve yourself for those 2 months, get on vacation, eat fish and chips the whole time, balloon back up because it's not sustainable. So you either pick something that is sustainable that you can lose slowly, denominally throughout the year,
Yep.
or you're just going to not want to be in a constant state of hunger your whole life. So you got to find something, whether it's carnivore, keto, some kind of a nutritional dietary change that you can sustain and not crash and not, just derail yourself.
You don't track generally, do you? Track calories or anything, or have you?
I ballpark in my head. I try to be under 3,000. It depends on the day, but I know that I'm probably numbers are kind of eluding me right now.
Like 3,000 is my maintenance.
Yeah, I think I'm 3,000 or 3,500 for my maintenance usually. So I try to be around 28, 26. If I'm in a 400 or 500 calorie deficit, ideally. But if I have like a really good lifting 2 days, I try to, I don't know why, just mentally I want to eat my maintenance on those days. But when I'm cruising, if you will, I try to be around 26, 2,800.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been that hard with food changes now that I'm not eating the breaded stuff, the fried stuff. The calories are a lot harder to come by when you Greek yogurt, strawberries. I love strawberries, by the way. I don't know if you eat strawberries, but...
Every day.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. I have my last 2 years of food tracked, so I track everything.
Oh, your dad.
Well, I mean, think about it. I'm a data guy.
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, I'm going to make
sense.
Decisions based on data, so I like to see the numbers. So
Tell me you have exactly how many strawberries you have eaten.
I could do that. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I could do that.
I can't do that. That's crazy. You and Dad are crazy.
Well, I put together my own tracker, and I just did it in Google Sheets. And so I put a bunch of the foods that I eat generally. To make my life easier, I eat probably the same 20 food items throughout the week. And then I have room where I can add a row for stuff if I need to. And so, every week does look a little different, but 90% of it's still the same. It's still the same. It's, chicken, hamburger, rice, bread, eggs, milk, Greek yogurt. I have all my different Greek yogurt things that I do. So when I'm tracking, all I do is I open up my sheet and I put 1 or 2, and I have, it takes me 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. And then I build it out so that it tracks the protein, calories. I don't pay any attention to the carbs or the fat. It's just my calories and my protein. And then I have it total it up for the week, give me an average for the week. And then I also have a little special spot that tracks how many alcohol calories I've had and how many days that I've drank that week. Which there are a lot of times where I say to myself, like, oh, yeah, I haven't really had a drink this week. Maybe I'll grab a drink tonight. And then I look at my tracker and, I actually drank 3 times this week already.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm talking drink.
No, just have a bourbon.
Right. But
Yeah, alcohol. So, we'll sit down. I won't have a drink on the day that I worked out because I work out in the evenings. And just as my, mechanism of ensuring I don't drink every day, I've convinced myself that if I have a drink, I'm going to stunt, all of the protein synthesis that would happen after a good workout, especially into that night and that night of sleep that I get. So I don't want to mess that up. So we get home from the gym, Monday night, and if Amber's like, hey, you want to have a drink tonight? Nope, not tonight. Tuesday rolls around. Okay, I'll have a drink tonight. And then I work out Wednesdays and Saturdays. So those are the days I just won't do it. So generally, I try to do it on like a Friday. That's like the perfect night because I am going to go work out at the gym in the morning, but I'm only having, I think the most I've drank in the last 6 months is 3 bourbons in one night. And I mean like a double shot of bourbon. So I don't know, a few hundred calories maybe. So nothing too crazy.
No.
But yeah, so I track everything. And because I track everything, I feel like I have a pretty good handle on when I'm going to lose weight, when I'm going to gain weight, and I have a pretty good handle now on, like if I took a couple months off from tracking. I did, November, December.
Luxurious, wasn't it?
It was delightful. But then I also found myself, I stepped on the scale and I was like, how did this happen? I don't know. I can't look at any data to prove why this happened. Now, I bet you it was the boxes of oatmeal cream pies that did it.
suspiciously
Hard to
absent from the
say.
table over here.
Yeah, I got rid of them.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know where they went. Don't check the trash can for wrappers.
Actually, I can see it's an eyesight. I do see something that may or may not be an oatmeal cream pie wrapper.
Dang it. No, that's a plastic baggie from something.
What are those needles?
If there were needles, I have a prescription. That's all I'm saying.
Is that a headless baby doll? There's a headless baby doll in Cameron's trash can.
The head's over there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. On a string with an X painted on its head.
You don't do that?
Oh, not anymore. We took it all down. Off topic, but there's a house that, based around that, there's a house in Galleon that we did work at, and to the right of the driveway there are 3 or 4 gravestones beside the right side of the driveway. And so as if that wasn't disturbing enough, you go around the back of the house, there's a little thicket back there, and there is a black 4-foot tall dollhouse in the thicket with little like cemetery things. Like,
did they just forget their Halloween decorations last year?
Well, so then my buddy from work sent me a picture of the house that they happened to drive by, and there's a Baphomet head goat skull just right there beside the garage door. And so he's got more of a conspiracy mind to him, so he's like, I was like, let me do a little research. So I just checked the address, checked the guy who lives there, look him up on Facebook. He does special effects for like haunted houses and stuff like that. So
Okay.
He's just really into it. 'Cause we thought there is a Baphomet worshipping cult that lives in Galleon now that is abducting children, sheep's heads, and all that stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
There's not.
Right?
It's just a guy that really is into Halloween, so we're good.
Wouldn't be surprised one way or another.
I didn't mean to derail. Anyway.
No. So yeah, weight loss. So I think what I was getting at was, before we got to the baby's head and the oatmeal cream pies,
We got everything. This is be real.
that it pays to track at least once in your life for a while, months even, just to really get a sense of how many calories you're getting in and how many grams of protein you're getting. Because it's pretty easy to undershoot and guess like, oh yeah, I think I had 2,500 calories today, and then you actually add it up and you had 3,500, 4,500. We talked about the fat vegans and their vegan cookies and vegan cheesecakes, like that kind of stuff, that if you just aren't in the habit of tracking at least some point and haven't really wrapped your brain around what 3,000 calories is,
Right.
or maybe, for our mom, what 2,000 calories is,
Right.
it's real hard to ballpark.
It depends on what you're eating too, because like you
true.
were saying, if it's processed carbs and breaded stuff that you are routinely eating in your diet, you'll find that your number just skyrockets. Handful of French fries are shockingly higher than you'd think they would be. But then on the other side of that, if it's fresh foods, we're talking about strawberries, a handful of strawberries, you're shocked. Or if you get low-fat Greek yogurt, you'd be shocked that you have all this plate of food, a giant handful of fistful of strawberries and a giant glob of Greek yogurt, and maybe you're at 300 calories for that. You're like,
Yeah.
so
And-
referentially, yeah, you might be undershooting. So I in my mind try to have a rolling tally of, really it's about protein macros. You know how it is. So you're trying to get your protein numbers for the day. So I'll keep track of that number, but I try to keep the overall calorie number in my head, and then how much protein I add, and the rest I'm just like try to get some fats, try to get some carbs, good carbs, sweet potato. But yeah, how much fat I should be having, an avocado, but try to stick to the lean, fish, chicken, turkey, so forth. But if I can ballpark the protein that I'm having and a good round number and keep it under 3,000, that's the best I can do. I'm not going to be a chart guy like you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not judging.
Good.
Not judging.
I think it's psychotic that you guys do that.
So I know fats are important for most people, and I'm going to just preface that by saying, for me, they're a little less important because it has a lot to do with your hormones, and mine come out of a vial at this point. So I really don't have to think about optimizing my hormone production anymore, which is nice. But I still do like fish oil, high EHA, EPA, DEA, MBA. I don't know. I can't
STD.
remember. STD. Yeah, that's it. Nailed it. So I try to do fish oil and like vitamin D every day. Just, I've seen enough conflicting evidence out there that people are low on those things that I'm like, okay, if I'm wrong, cool. It costs me $3 every month to take these. Cool. I'm okay with that. But otherwise, yeah, I quit tracking fats because I was tracking fats when I was trying to optimize my hormones after I lost the weight. My testosterone was low. So I did that. And it was like 60 grams a day of fats was like the recommended to make sure you had optimum hormones. And then my hormones were still tanked. So testosterone was still tanked. So yeah, I don't really track the fats anymore. And I quit tracking the carbs because I know I get more than enough. And it was just another number that if I stressed myself out over, I'd stop tracking or get burnout and stress out about it or whatever. And yeah, your carb intake can definitely influence your fluctuation of weight from day to day. So like, we're talking about losing weight and that initial weight loss, thinking about a couple of things, thinking about the body water that I hold, the glycogen stores in my muscle, and then the intramuscular water that I hold from excess creatine. So I eat a lot of meat and I take creatine every day. So if you said go lose 20 pounds in a week, I think I could do it. I think I could lose 20 pounds in a week if I cut out creatine and got down 500-600 calorie deficit.
Carbs.
Got rid of the carbs.
Bottle X-Lax.
Yeah, and just minimal hydration. I bet you I could shed 20 pounds.
Just arbitrarily lose 20 pounds or for...
I'm just saying 20 pounds of body content.
Yeah.
So would it be healthy or would it be fat tissue? Nope.
No, you can do it.
Nope, but it'd be like making weight for wrestling.
Right. Yeah, you can do 20 pounds in a week.
Just dehydrate the crap out of yourself. All the water's out. Yeah, hey, I lost 20 pounds. But would I be any better at the end of that?
No.
No, absolutely not. I'd probably have a harder journey after that.
I think it's per gram of carb that you take into your body, you retain 3 to 4 grams of water.
I don't know.
So part of that is if you switch to like a keto, that's one of the big, and it's a false number, but people start to a low carb, keto, Atkins, whatever diet, and then immediately the first 24, 48 hours, they just shed 7-8 pounds because, again, your carb intake dropped to next to nothing, and all that water weight just left you. So, but yeah, continuing on, you're going to notice weight fluctuations if you start taking your carbs back up to, I don't know, it's normal anymore for a person that...
Hundreds? At least hundreds?
I just stick to sweet potatoes now. I don't do breads, so it's hard to...
If you do vegetables and stuff too, right? So you get good fibrous content. You get
cruciferous
not excess
vegetables that hurt my stomach and make me farty. So cauliflower, cabbage.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I don't know if you consider asparagus in there as I don't think it's a cruciferous vegetable, but yeah, broccoli, cauliflower.
Okay.
Brussels sprouts. Did I ever tell you the Brussels sprout story when we were at Red Lobster?
No, but I would love to hear it.
Well, I don't routinely eat like that many Brussels sprouts. I mean, who gets Brussels sprouts routinely? I'm sure people do once in a while, but it's not a daily eat thing for me.
People that like disgusting things.
But this is really when I realized what's in those kind of vegetables. Where we were at, was it Grandma's birthday? Red Lobster?
Yeah.
And Dad's like, bring us a quart of Brussels sprouts. And they had a big bouquet of Brussels sprouts for the table, and I'm like, oh, these are hitting pretty good, so I get some as a side to my meal.
Yeah.
Then Dad gets them as a side to his meal, so now I'm eating my Brussels sprouts, and from the communal Brussels sprout bucket, and then Dad is done with his Brussels sprouts. Do you want mine? Finish those off. So I eat my Brussels sprouts, I'm going to say 70% of the communal Brussels sprouts, and then Dad's leftover Brussels sprouts, because apparently I have to do that and eat everyone's leftovers. I went home and I felt like I was 8.5 months pregnant. I'm ready to give birth. I'm just, and I've never, the sulfur content in vegetables like that. So if you really on an extreme want to really test and see what those vegetables will do as far as your farting and your gas goes, they will do it. They're good for you, but you're going to fart.
Yeah. No, I figured that out so we would do the bags like the freezer bags of broccoli or cauliflower, and I was just eating one. I would eat one. I'd throw like a chicken breast in it or something like that, and just some seasoning, and just eat it out of the bag. And I figured out if I ate the whole bag, then I'd fart my brains out that night. With peppers and onions, though, I don't get any of that. So I can do, like Italian sausage, or I'll do chicken, peppers and onions, throw some mushrooms in there. I don't get any of that from peppers or onions, thankfully. But broccoli and the last time that I dove into a whole carton of egg whites.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Drank the whole carton of egg whites. I mean, stomach felt fine. I felt good, but then I think I did that, middle of the day, and then by late evening, I'm laying down in bed and start getting the gurgles. Yeah, and then I spent the next hour in the bathroom trying to hide from my wife to, relieve the sulfuric egg fart gas that ensued.
Have you ever, I don't know do you have any chest worries? Or is it... So you saying that makes me think, no, do you ever have a chest tightness that you're like, oh God, this, or concerning feelings in your chest routinely, or I know you had anxiety back in the day, but do you have that still where you're like, should I be monitoring this, or do you not even worry about that?
It still happens sometimes. Last night, actually, I woke up 2 or 3 times last night. I'm fairly certain my stomach was upset, but I woke up thinking, I could hear my heart pounding in my ear. My arm was numb. Never mind the fact that I was laying on it for 4 hours, but my arm was numb, and I was like, oh my God, I'm dying.
It's amazing how those things work in conjunction with each other. Why does my left arm hurt now?
Yes.
Why, if it's nothing, why are you doing this? My right arm would be fine, but why is it my left one?
Yep.
Oh, it's numb now. Why are you doing that? And if it's not, why are you doing this to me? But I'm now at the age where it's been 3 or 4 times when I've been I'm out of breath for no reason. I just walked down the stairs.
Yep.
Why am I out of breath? And then I was at the gym 2 weeks ago, and I had one of those. I'm like, I really might have to go to the hospital because I was winded. I'd finished a set, legs, and I know it was exerting, but I was genuinely panting, gasping, could not catch my breath. I would wait 5-6 minutes. I'm still gasping, and I'm like, now there's some chest incontinence, and I go home, and I'm still feeling like something's not right. Is this what Trevor felt like, our cousin, when he had his, heart issues? He said walking down the hallway was exerting for him. And then 10 minutes later, and I was like, oh my God, it's true. You can fake a heart attack from too much gas. And now it's something that I'm like, that's how I'm going to die. I know that's how I'm going to die. Because
Jerry Gergich in Parks and Rec, having his fart attack.
Have a fart attack, but I probably will die the day that I do because I thought it's just gas, and it's going to actually be the big one. So, stay away from too many cruciferous vegetables if you do not want to be musical the rest of.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how vegetarians and vegans do it. Now I know they do a lot of lettuce and lighter, more. Maybe there's more water content. I don't know. I don't know enough about vegetables. I just know I'm good with peppers and onions. And if I deviate too far from that, I might have a rough time. But I generally do peppers and onions at some point 3 or 4 days a week. So I get a lot of those. You have mentioned strawberries. We do the giant gallon freezer bags of strawberries, blueberries, and then either Walmart or Kroger has a mixed bag of peaches, strawberries, and mango.
Ooh.
And I just take a handful of those, throw them with some almond milk and protein powder, make a protein shake, a lot of times throughout the week. So I do, and this was a recommendation from my doctor as well, at least a cup of fruit every day. And then sometimes more, often more, and vegetables throughout the week. Mm-hmm. So I can honestly say up until I was probably 30, if my doctor asked me about fruits and vegetables, I was lying.
Yeah,
and, absolutely.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Kale. Oh, yeah. Kale salad.
Totally. I lied for 30 years about that. But now, do it constantly. And to your earlier point, you have Greek yogurt, and throw some strawberries or some fruit in there. Or I usually take 2.
So good.
I'll get 2 of those little Oikos cups of yogurt, throw frozen fruit in there, or granola. We get this high protein granola, throw that in there. And I'm like 350 calories in, and I actually had like a good breakfast. I don't feel like crap the rest of the day. And then, going into lunchtime, I'm actually still, I'm not like ravenously hungry by lunch.
Right.
I still eat, a pretty good lunch, but that's far and away better than the days where I would, bum around and get a bowl of cereal in the morning.
Yep.
Or, my kids love donuts, so we have donuts. I get the donuts for the kids. I'm saying that now.
For the camera, what's your kids' names? Could you mention them? Carla and
Klooper.
Yeah.
But I still eat half the box of the donuts. So if it wasn't for the kids asking for them, I don't think I'd bring them home, because I know what I would do. So they ask for them, bring them home, I eat half the box, and then they can eat what's left. But those are the mornings where I smash a donut, and then I smash another one, and then probably another one. And by 10, I'm like, I think I could do lunch early today.
Yeah.
I get nothing out of it. And now I'm hundreds of calories in, too.
Yeah, there's something about it that just speeds up, and you're hungrier and hungrier, and you get more carbs, more. Mom and I have just been talking about this because she's noticing on the days that she fudges and eats something processed, she's more starving all day, and it's just so easy to just wood burn through a bag of Fritos or Doritos. You just don't ever get full off of them.
Nope.
So
I did it last night. We had I keep a big pot of chicken in the fridge at any given time. There is always cooked chicken in our fridge every day of the week. Has been that way for at least a couple years now.
I will test that later. There's
in there.
Chicken in that fridge.
Oh, it's in there. But I took that, we put like some barbecue sauce on it, and got some tortilla chips, and sat down and ate some, like chips and dip, except it was chicken with barbecue sauce on it. Some people might judge that. I don't care, though.
I'm one.
It's pretty good. But, so I finished my plate of chicken, and we had half a bag of tortilla chips, so then I ate that half a bag of tortilla chips. And by the end of it, I was like, I'm going to go see what's in the fridge.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't fill me up at all. I probably had another 500 calories for the night from that bag of tortilla chips, and pretty much shot my deficit for the day.
Yep.
But, yeah.
They just completely upset your balance of... So I don't eat anything outside of when I'm cheating. I will cheat. I have a cheat meal here and there, but throughout the week, no bread, no rice, no pasta. Everything from sweet potatoes, fruits, but it's not anything processed I try to stay away from. Don't judge me for my Mountain Dew Zero. I'm working on that next. Okay. But we went to that concert there 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what better day than to just have a cheat? I'm starving there. Yeah. I didn't eat dinner yet, so I'm like...
You're walking around, you're sweating.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like burning 10,000 calories just being around 50 people jumping up and down and sweating. And so I'm like, maybe silly me thinking that there's a healthy alternative at the rock band show. Hell
Pizza.
No.
Pizza, nachos, fried chicken, French fries, just everything that So I'm like, I can justify eating fried, chicken tenders because there's protein in it. And then, so I spent $40 on 2 tubs of, it's literally just 2 orders of like 3 chicken tenders and then the fries. And I'm telling you, that upset my digestive tract for the next 2 days when everything was fine. I was starving as soon as I got home. So just as soon as it's just amazing what just one meal of crazy processed carbohydrates can just upset your whole balance. And you know what? I'm connecting the dots for my last night. I told you earlier, last night I woke up a couple times with a little bit of anxiety and not feeling well. Last night I ate half a bag of tortilla chips. So, yeah.
Well, I still maintain that I think there's a correlation to your blood sugar with anxiety. So when I did what was it? Did I do keto? Yeah, I did keto 7 years ago just to try it, and I lost like 40 pounds. But it literally upended my anxiety. I went from having it to just I haven't had a panic attack for a week.
I believe
it's been 2 weeks. And so I genuinely think that when you have lower blood sugar, there's something to I don't feel right, and it's just your blood sugar hovering high or telling your body something's off, and then your brain kind of takes it from there. But if you remove it from your diet, I don't know, there's some kind of correlation there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised. I think I've noticed when the anxiety hits, there's a couple of things that I also notice, and one of them is my blood pressure as well. So I don't know what the correlation is, what the causation is. I don't know what drives the blood pressure up. I know what spikes blood sugar, but I don't know if it's because I ate the food, then I got the anxiety. Now my blood pressure's high because of the anxiety. I don't know if the blood pressure induces the anxiety and it's all because of the carbohydrates, the excess amount of carbohydrates. I don't totally understand that, but to your point, I think staying away from massive amounts of junk at one time is probably a pretty easy rule to follow.
Yeah. Yep.